Breaking news, 5G technology and the induction of coronavirus has been linked scientifically and published in scientific journals. Ladies and gentlemen, check out the Pubmed article, 5G technology and induction of coronavirus. Many scientists have signed their names to this document. And just a few weeks before the outbreak in Wuhan, they turned on their 5G. When we look at the most hard-hit regions in America right now, they've got the 5G as well, ladies and gentlemen. Miami is an excellent case study. They've got the most advanced 5G network in Florida, which is basically the epicenter of the outbreak right now. They only have a fraction of the people compared to Tampa and Orlando. There's a nightlife there, there's tourists there, and the like. But they don't have as much 5G, ladies and gentlemen. And so now we're starting to see the link. This is footage of the 5G death towers in Miami right now, the most futuristic death towers in the country. And this is the epicenter of the outbreak. Do you believe in coincidences, ladies and gentlemen? They flip on the 5G in Wuhan, outbreak. You look at the most advanced 5G networks in America, outbreak. Now, if they're willing to lock you down and take away your rights for your safety, don't you think they should be taking down these 5G death towers for your safety? Now that we have scientific reports, now that we have concrete evidence, hard evidence, right now. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that these death towers are bad news, ladies and gentlemen. The evidence has been overwhelming over the years, linking this technology to cancer, childhood cancer, all sorts of diseases. And we're going to be getting into the scientific white papers that show how these death towers suppress your immune system. And you see how they're placing these things, I mean, like right next to your house. It's strategic. And you see how they're focusing these death towers wherever people go, wherever they have to go, like some kind of rat trap, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing them at the shopping centers. You're seeing them at the grocery store. You're seeing them pretty much everywhere you go outdoors these days. And they're a major health concern. And the problem is right now you got the big telecom dollars on TV telling you that this technology is safe. And it's just like big tobacco, and it won't be for another 20 years, if we have that long, before we discover what we already know now, that these death towers are bad news. And again, they look weaponized. They look weaponized like the fluoride in the water, believe it or not. That stuff is toxic, but it's a weapon that they're dumping in the municipal water supply. And they say, oh, it's for your teeth. I don't care if it's for your bad breath. It's toxic. It has no business being in the water supply. And, you know, we get similar reports about the pesticides, the GMOs, the vaccines. And eventually you have to ask the question, you know, are these people trying to kill you? Ladies and gentlemen, why do they keep promoting things that are bad for you? Why do we need to have death towers at our schools? I mean, does that make any sense? I mean, children are much more vulnerable to this type of radiation. And children don't consent. They don't consent to this type of radiation. They can't consent. You can consent, perhaps, if you actually knew what you were getting exposed to. But children can't consent to this radiation. This radiation is harmful. So the question is, why are we allowing it? Why can't we opt out of this radiation? We're finding it everywhere, you know, at the schools, at home, at the workplace. You live in a synthetic cloud of radiation all day. It's a very unusual thing, considering, you know, human history. No time in history have people been exposed to this type of radiation, this level of radiation. And there is no safe radiation. I mean, even UV radiation will burn you and give you cancer. How can all of this radiation be safe for you is the question. There are no studies. There's no evidence that says that this is absolutely safe. And they want to roll out more and more of it. And it seems like they're just trying to exterminate people. Seems like the boiling frogs effect. You know, just a little more, a little more, a little more, and eventually you're just cooking in this stuff and you don't even know what happened. I mean, you don't feel it if it's just like, you know, one generation at a time. But eventually it's going to be like, you know, 6G, death G radiation out there. They're putting it everywhere. And that's why people really got to push back. And, you know, we recommend people get a meter out there. There's a lot of meters out there. Shop around. See which one's best for you, you know. But you see these death towers now, they're pretty much at the level of your head. They used to be like outside of town.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Extremely dangerous indeed. I mean, all of these paid shills on TV are reading from a script. They're not telling you the real news. They're not telling you about what's going on. They represent the dark side. They represent, you know, the devil itself, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the television has become non-stop Luciferian propaganda. To be quite honest with you, it's rather disturbing. But they're never going to tell you the truth, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. And you can't opt out of their eugenics programs. And, you know, people have got to fight back for their survival. You know what I mean? If people are going to survive, they need to fight back. There's no choice about the matter. And, you know, right now in certain cities in America, you know, people are fighting back against this, you know, beast system, against this eugenics program. But they're irradiating you wherever you go. And if it's not the COVID, it's the cancer. And people should be concerned about what they're being exposed to. You'd be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, to say the least. But we'll get into that. If you're just joining us, the big breaking news, I mean, right now the hard science is linking the COVID-19 to the radiation. And just a few weeks before everything kicked off in Wuhan, they flipped on the 5G. And we're seeing, you know, areas in America most affected by COVID having the most advanced 5G networks in the country. And look, there's plenty of people everywhere. And if they're going to lock people down, then perhaps they should, you know, consider taking these death towers down. If they're going to lock you down for your safety and take away your rights, why should these death towers not be tested for their safety as well? Maybe we can turn off the 5G and the 4G in Miami and see if the numbers go down. Why doesn't Miami become, you know, kind of like a test program for, you know, less radiation? Maybe the radiation is the problem. Why won't they test that out? What are they afraid of, ladies and gentlemen? Are they afraid that we're going to discover the truth, that these death towers are really punishment in disguise, that they're weaponized, that they're trying to kill you with this radiation? And here's another fun fact. I mean, your phones are pretty much worse than the death towers, according to the metrics out there. You'd be surprised at what you're getting dosed with your phone, with your router, with your laptop, with your wireless gadgets, your, you know, wireless headphones and IP cameras and the like. You'd be surprised at what you're exposing yourself to, at what you're exposing others to. And that's why we recommend getting a meter. Now, right now, we're doing a comparison with the tri-field meter, which retails around $180 or something like that, and the EMF 390. And we're at the GQ Electronics Lab, and they're going to flip on the transmitter, and you can see they're pretty much right around the same ballpark, 15 to 18 milliwatts. Now, the EMF 390 sells for $129 on our website. Through the affiliate program, you get it direct from the manufacturer. 1-year warranty, fits in your pocket. It's excellent. For the money, it's excellent. But shop around. Get yourself a meter, because if you don't know what you're being exposed to, then you don't know what you're being exposed to. And that's a threat. That's a danger. And not every death hour is the same. Not every home is the same. Not every city is the same. But, if your schools are heavily irradiated, you should want to know that. If your workplace is heavily irradiated, you should want to know that. Now, these are the metrics for what's considered extreme. And anything above 1 milliwatt is considered extreme, ladies and gentlemen. And once you learn a little bit about the science, you'll realize just how bad things are. 0.001 milliwatts is like normal, as normal as you can get these days. And when you think of, 1 milliwatt, that's like 1,000 times the normal background radiation. And right now in some cities, people are getting 100 milliwatts, 200 milliwatts. That's like 100,000 times, 200,000 times a natural environment. It's not just dangerous, it's insane. That's the problem out there. And look, this stuff is worked out to kill you in about 10 or 20 years. So it's not like a bullet to the head. You get to benefit from, wireless technology and be a modern human, but you're paying a price for it. And, this 5G, this technology was delivered by this administration, believe it or not. They made it a national security priority. They didn't deliver Hillary to prison. They delivered 5G to you, to your neighborhoods. Kind of like this virus. Makes you wonder about a lot of things. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, people need to protect themselves, and they need to, keep talking about the 5G and the 4G. This is a battle that we can win, because nobody wants a death tower in their neighborhood. But they've thought about that. Now they're putting up satellites. Elon Musk has got this Death Star network that's out to get you, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to irradiate you. And, that's where shielding really becomes an issue. You need to understand what works and what doesn't work in terms of shielding. And I think we've got this nice little document from the Air Force here, Radio Frequency Microwave Radiation Effects. And it talks about effects on the chromosomes, causes cancer, causes mutations. And that's because, the chromosomes basically resonate with these, death towers. We could get into that. It also has an effect on the immune system, suppresses the immune system, gives you like AIDS. So check that document out, Radio Frequency Microwave Radiation Effects. This is from the Air Force. So, look, the science tells you that these death towers are bad news. And look, until we can take these death towers down through, legal means, essentially people have to protect themselves. That's your responsibility. And this system is predicated on you not knowing the dangers that are around you. And they figure that if you don't know, then, you're not meant to hang around, because it's survival of the fittest intellectually out there. So don't be a mark, get smart, get a meter, and shop around. We feel like you'll be back for the EMF 390. The El Cheapo from Home Depot doesn't do it, ladies and gentlemen. It only picks up the static fields. You need a meter that picks up pulsed electromagnetic fields, radio frequencies. And, most of the meters are $200, $300, $400, and it makes it really difficult to really measure what's going on because nobody wants to spend that kind of money. But this EMF 390 is basically $100. Fits in your pocket. It does the job, and that's why we like it. We were going to get a meter, and we were going to spend the $200 for the video guys on vacation. We were going to spend the $200 for like a tri-field meter like this one, or maybe an acoustimeter for $300 or something like that. And we saw the EMF 390 for a little over $100, and we were like, I wonder if it works. And we called the manufacturer. We got the comparison videos with all the other meters, and it's pretty much on par for the money. It works. And we like it because it's got a broader range. It goes from 0 to 10 gigahertz. Most of the other meters only go to 2, 3, or maybe 4 gigahertz. And their accuracy kind of lessens as the frequency increases. We've got the footage of that. But in any case, it seemed like it performed better and actually had more functions than the other meters. It only made sense. And look, we feel like the more people understand what's going on in their neighborhoods, in their environment, in terms of this radiation, the safer they'll be. And if the science is accurate, which links, this disease to the EMF, then that's all the more reason to get a meter. Maybe even more so than a mask. Because if this radiation is suppressing your immune system, that means even the common cold will be more deadly, ladies and gentlemen. And back in the 90s, the average flu season was 15, 20,000 people a year. Now it's up to nearly 100,000 people. And since the 5G, it's now like 200,000-300,000 people, with this COVID and everything. And it's like, maybe there's something there. How do you know? And, you should try it out, reducing your EMF. Turn off your phones, turn off your Wi-Fi. That's the least you can do if you can't get a meter. Quit dosing yourself. You see people bringing the phone to their heads. If you could see what you're getting dosed with, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the EMF 390 sells on Amazon for $148. You can check out the reviews over there. It's mostly positive, 97%. Most people like it. And we sell it for $129 on our website, directly from the manufacturer. And you can find out everything you want pretty much about this meter. Other videos, what it looks like, what the safety guidelines are, etc., etc. And it's got all these different modes. So, it takes a little getting used to, but once you do, you'll see that it's just really kind of, it really just sells itself. And that's why we think you should know about it. I couldn't wait to get mine, and I've had it for over a year, and it still works just fine. So when you click order now, that brings you directly to the GQ Electronics website. And they make radiation meters and EMF meters, all sorts of high-end detectors. So you can check out what they got, get the meter, get one for a friend, and that's the order form, and there you go. Ships out from Seattle in a couple days, and excellent meter, to say the least, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like the video guys on vacation. How's everybody doing out there? Things are going to get worse as they roll out more 5G technology. And the reason that they're rolling it out is because this is part of the beast system. This is part of the extermination program. And you've been hearing about this for years. You've seen the Luciferian propaganda out there. You realize it's New Babylon, the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. You're up against, biblical evil. And until people, confront the issue for what it is, we're never going to get anywhere. until people realize that, you know, the devil is real, and, you know, demons are real, and these things are invading our world and trying to kill you. Until you understand that that's what you're up against, you know, you won't understand what's going on. You know, these demons require, you know, humans, a physical form, to interact with the world of today. And so we're truly wrestling against spiritual wickedness from heavenly places, ladies and gentlemen, fallen angels and the like. And, you know, it's pure evil. That's what we're up against, pure evil. And evil is as evil does. That's why they're trying to exterminate the world. They're trying to exterminate life. They're anti-life, ladies and gentlemen. They're anti-creation. They want to destroy it all. They want to assimilate mankind. They want to irradiate you. They want you living in a totally synthetic environment, to say the least. Be on the lookout for these 60 gigahertz transmitters. It looks like a siren, if you will, a siren of death. And the big gray box is an amplifier. Imagine hooking an amp like that to your speaker. I mean, they'd hear you on the other side of the planet, basically. And these things are going up everywhere. And supposedly they're running on 60 gigahertz, and they're, you know, basically frying the oxygen out of the air. Might as well be 66 gigahertz, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, if you think about the numerology with coronavirus, you know, corona is 6 letters, and if you add up the numbers of, you know, each letter of the alphabet that, you know, corona represents, you'll get 66. You know, the predictive programming has been there for quite some time, and we've seen the white papers that indicate that immunosuppression activates the virus and makes it, you know, basically clinical. And that means, you know, the works. And so, you know, it probably won't be until they activate the 5G in your town that you'll start seeing the health effects. But little by little, this epidemic is going to spread like an invisible enemy. And it's linked to the death towers. Now, it might be linked to other things like diabetes and air pollution. But the Chinese weren't diabetics, and they were dropping dead. And so we would say that, you know, air pollution and 5G are probably, you know, bigger factors than diabetes. But the science is still, you know, processing everything as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. Hard to say, you know, what this virus actually does, given that it came out of a lab, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is the GQ lab doing the comparison. Now, you know, had this virus been a computer virus and jumped out of the computer lab, you know, they would have done more to stop it. They wouldn't have let every network get infected with this virus. But you're worth less than a computer to them. And, you know, they took a big gamble with some kind of weaponized virus, letting it infect everyone. And there's no doubt about that, ladies and gentlemen. And so, you know, the question isn't if they tried to infect you. The question is who tried to infect you. And now we're starting to see, you know, that Fauci is linked to this virus. And, you know, what a coincidence. And not just, you know, any kind of coincidence like, you know, roughly connected. I mean, the directly connected. They were funding, you know, the virus at this lab, this virus at this lab. And when you see a connection like that, you know, they let this virus in and they're turning on the death towers everywhere. They're out to get you, ladies and gentlemen. And it's because they're demonic. And they want to shut down the churches. They want to ban the Bible. They want to say conservatives are radicals, you know, upside down world. Ladies and gentlemen, where good is evil and evil is good. And, you know, these death towers are part of it. And we can take these death towers down. And they should be a target for everyone's activism out there. And so protest these death towers. Do what you can to fight back. But the hard science is in. And, you know, they're putting this technology near your schools, your shopping centers, your workplace, your homes, everywhere. You need to know what you're getting exposed with. because you think the death towers are bad, which they are. You know, what you're getting exposed to at home is probably 10 times worse or 100 times worse than these death towers, especially if you're on your phone a lot. And, you know, if people are watching this show on their phones, you know, please don't. You know, go get a computer, connect it to the internet with an Ethernet cable, and, you know, make sure that you're not getting exposed by other sources. At this stage, you really have to consider EMF as a clear and present danger, especially the doses that we're getting today. There's no real scientific study that's considering all of the real life scenarios out there. You know, people can be next to a router with their phones and the death towers outside while getting beamed by the Elon Musk Death Star. There's no, you know, long-term studies, safety studies on all of that. And, you know, to give them a blank check with your health is, you know, is a big mistake. So double check, you know, what you're getting exposed to, understand the science, and know that, you know, there's a link here between this outbreak and these death towers. I'll have to leave it there for this broadcast. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out our website, stfnreport.com. Until the next time, if you're listening to this, you are the resistance.